Napoleon was once attacked by a horde of bunnies. In 1807, Napoleon Bonaparte, the famous French emperor, organized a rabbit hunt for himself and his army. But those organizing the hunt didn't get the memo about it being a hunt. They bought hundreds of tame rabbits instead of catching wild ones. Can you imagine? When Napoleon and his army arrived at the site ready to hunt, they were instead greeted by hundreds of fluffy rabbits charging towards them. These brave bunnies charged like French revolutionaries demanding carrots, forcing Napoleon to make a tactical retreat. It was reported that Napoleon met his match that day, and it had floppy ears. Pope Gregory IX declared war on cats. In the 1230s, Pope Gregory IX came to the conclusion that cats, especially black ones, were linked to devil worship, and so began his crusade to rid the world of feline. This went on for several years, and during that time, many innocent cats lost their lives. Unfortunately, this also led to a rise in rats, which helped spread the Black Plague. Perhaps the real moral of this story is not to mess with cats. President Andrew Jackson's parrot swore at his funeral. When President Andrew Jackson died in 1845, his pet parrot, Paul, had to be removed from the service due to its behavior. Despite being a well-loved president, his funeral was somewhat marred by his foul-mouthed Polly. Witnesses said that it was profanely distressing when the bird started swearing during the ceremony. Even in death, it seems Jackson couldn't escape politics and the occasional curse word. The Olympic Games used to include art competitions. Between 1912 and 1948, the Olympics awarded medals for various art forms, including painting, music, sculpture, and even architecture. Today, these competitions are no longer a part of the Olympic Games, but imagine the dedication it must have taken to train for and win a medal in, say, discus throwing or rhythmic gymnastics. Wait, that's still a thing. The Great Emu War of Australia was lost to the In 1932, emus were wreaking havoc on farmland in Australia, so the Australian military declared war on the birds. What followed was one of the strangest conflicts in history. Soldiers faced off against emus who outran and outmaneuvered them. It was the only war where the enemy was a flightless bird, and it ended in a humiliating defeat for the soldiers. To this day, the Great Emu War is considered a failure of epic proportions, losing to a bird that can't even fly. Peter the Great made his wife keep her lover's head in a jar. When Russian Tsar Peter the Great caught his wife's lover, he ordered the man to be executed and his head preserved in alcohol. Then he gave the jar to his wife Catherine and told her to keep it in her room. Now that's what we call relationship goals, Russian style. Years later, the jar was discovered by Catherine's son, who was visiting his mother. I wonder how awkward those family get-togethers were. When Peter told Catherine to put our heads together, he wasn't referring to a romantic dinner for two. Roman Emperor Gaius Caligula made his horse a senator. Gaius Caligula was the Roman emperor from 37 to 41 AD, and he loved his horse, Incitas, more than most people. He gifted the horse a marble stable, a jeweled collar, and reportedly tried to appoint it as a Roman consul. Now, this is not to say horses are incapable of being senators, but Incitus did not have the qualifications of most senators. A US town elected a dog as mayor. In the small town of Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, there was a local legend. That's because the town once elected a dog as mayor. Lucy Lou, a black Labrador, served as mayor from 2008 to 2016, winning election after election. Voters took their duties seriously and showed up to the polls in droves to cast their ballots for their favorite canine candidate. Mayor Lucy Lou didn't disappoint and proved to be honest and hardworking. Better than most human politicians, honestly. And when her term was over, she graciously conceded the position. Honestly, the only reason why dogs aren't in charge of everything is because they'd rather chew the furniture than deal with the paperwork. In medieval times, animals were put on trial. Yes, you heard that right. During the Middle Ages, animals were occasionally put on trial for crimes. It could be for anything from destroying crops to attacking children. One particularly dramatic case involved a pig that was taken to court because it had squealed while under oath. Talk about squealing like a pig. The pig was found guilty and sentenced to death. Another time, a rat was put on trial for allegedly stealing cheese. Rats and pigs are probably really careful about what they say nowadays. Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC and was the last active ruler of the Kingdom of Egypt. Despite being so closely associated with Egypt, Cleopatra was actually Greek. She was descended from the general of Alexander the Great, Ptolemy I, who had stayed in Egypt after Alexander's death. Over time, Cleopatra's lineage became rulers of Egypt, but let's be real, no one cares. She's an iconic Egyptian queen and had an iconic eyeliner game. Cleopatra's eyeliner was so legendary that it has become synonymous with her look, but the makeup icon didn't realize the product she was using was actually toxic. Cleopatra's eyeliner was made from powdered lead, which is highly poisonous. Lead acetate, also known as sugar of lead, was used as a white base for the eyeliner. Lead poisoning can cause serious damage to the nervous system. Considering some of Cleopatra's odd love life choices, maybe the lead poisoning had something to do with that. Stay tuned for more crazy history facts.